I had very poor vision at the age of 3 because I ran into all kinds of things in the house. And so as a result of that, why, I went from doctor to doctor and then finally got corneal transplants. I had transplants in 45, 46, and then another one in 52. So from my own experience, I know that these other people can be helped. And that's what caused me to get involved with this. Actually, I was involved through Dr. J. Lynn.
Oh, I knew from very early that I wanted to be a scientist. I had a chemistry set as a kid. I watched Mr. Wizard. I had a wonderful biology teacher in high school, and I loved the names of the chemicals, things like alpha-ketogluteric acid. I always thought they were kind of poetic, you know. But I didn't come to vision research until much later. I studied chemistry in college, biochemistry in graduate school, and it wasn't until I moved to Seattle. My wife was in graduate school there. She came home one day and said, my ophthalmologist wants to talk to you. And I said, why? And he said, well, because he wants to tell you about the cornea and how we need people researching that. So I talked to him. He ended up hiring me as a postdoc, and I worked with him for about 8 years. And my interest in the cornea even deepened in the 1980s when my wife had a corneal transplant. I started to understand the implications of corneal opacity and how wonderful corneal transplants were. So I've been interested in the field, you know, for over 30 years.
I became a member of the Medical Eye Bank Foundation back in the 1900s, back in probably 1960 in that area. For the same reason that I have really committed to you now. I was very interested in helping other people see, or if I couldn't do that, then getting them aid so they could continue their lifestyle. Many people are able to hold jobs. They're able to read Braille faster than you and I can read the newspaper. It's not uncommon to find blind people reading 300 words a minute. And so I was drawn to the conclusion that through the Medical Eye Bank and corneal transplants, many of these people could see again. That's what occurred with me. I had corneal transplants. And that's the reason that I got so involved with the Medical Eye Bank. Well, we hope through Dr. Funderburg's research that, of course, many of them will regain their vision. And that would be a miraculous objective. And we find it something that can be accomplished.
So we want to first try the stem cell therapy in this model. We have high hopes that it'll work. The next stage is to go through much more regulatory process where we prepare the cells with FDA-approved clinical reagents. Then we test them for contamination with viruses, bacteria, make sure that they aren't carcinogenic, because that's always a concern with stem cells. And this is a very well-defined process. It's rather expensive because you have to document everything in great detail because you will eventually present it to the FDA and say, now our cells are ready for human trials. And that's what this grant will allow us to do, because it's going to require more hands, more reagents, and a lot of time. So that's the stages we will go through in hopes within maybe 18 months to have these cells ready for a clinical trial. And we're just delighted to be able to be in this position.